Boy, does it feel good to be back on top. If you can't tell from my voice, I am very raspy right now. It was a rough get up this morning, difficult way to start the day. But you know what isn't difficult? Being the champions of the world. And that's what the Seattle Seahawks are. We're going to take a moment here right now to just kind of revel in it because this was a team that wasn't supposed to be there. But in today's video, we are going to dive in to all the major news that's going on surrounding the Seahawks because we can't just keep partying. We can't just keep focusing on all of the good. We do have to focus on a little bit of the future. And that's what we're going to do on today's Seahawks Today. This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we're going to revel in the championship moment just a little bit longer. I know in the intro I said you can't just sit there and focus on that, but man, oh man, a sweet victory it was. The dark side absolutely dominated. It was never close in this game. It's the most lopsided 29-13 victory that has ever happened in the National Football League, and that is my personal opinion. And it feels so good to be champions. It's going to feel really good, by the way, if you go grab our champions merch. We're going to have the link in the comment section and description of today's video. We've got this sweet t-shirt, not only in the navy, but we also got it in the black. Look at that head honcho on your left side. You got the main guy on the right side as well. The thing is freaking sweet. And hey, I know it's still cold. It's the winter months, so if your t-shirt's not really your deal right now, you want to be bundled up, we got hoodies as well. You can throw that thing on. It is super comfortable, super fresh, super fly. People are going to be talking about how sweet you look in that dang thing. The other thing that we have that I think is pretty freaking cool is we've also got the mob ties. You can look at it right there. We got the mascot looking super fresh like he's a mafioso boss. Guess what? We got that in the black t-shirt as well. Super comfy. I got my Mob Mentality t-shirt on right now. Feels great. I know those t-shirts feel great as well. And hey, guess what? We wouldn't just do t-shirts on one and hoodies on the other. So guess what? We got hoodies as well. If you'd rather go with the mascot, you think that thing looks fresher, hey, you put that thing on a hoodie, you're going to feel really dang good. And the thing that we're going to do here on Seahawks Today that I think is freaking cool and I think is super fresh, if you go out and you grab a t-shirt before we are selling, we're going to give you a shout out to let you know how much we love and how much we appreciate you. Shout out to Jeremy F. and Rochelle D. They went in, they grabbed a t-shirt and a hoodie as well. If you want to get shouted out on the show, you go grab that merch. I get an alert, and I'll make sure that you get alerted and are shouted out on the next video because I got to support those who support us here on the channel. And boy, oh boy, I think those t-shirts are fresh. So thank you guys so much for going in and grabbing those. If you want to be a part of the next shout out, make sure that you go and grab yourself one today. All right, on today's show, we got to talk about the big news going on in 4 different spots. Klint Kubiak, look, sorry boys, sorry girls, he's gone. He basically announced it last night. That's okay, man. We'll dive into why he's gone and what it means for this team. Who could potentially be his replacement? Because I'll tell you right now, it sounds like the Seahawks are already rapidly circling in on who their next offensive coordinator is going to be. So make sure that you stick around for who that could potentially be. Kenneth Walker, we got to talk about the MVP of Super Bowl 60. What are we going to need to do in Seattle to make sure that the Seahawks retain him? And then at the very end, we're going to talk a little bit more about the potential of a sale for the Seahawks because a prominent NFL expert, a prominent NFL voice, kind of weighed in on his perspective on what could be happening there. Kubiak said this last night. He said, you guys know I'm going to Las Vegas, and I'm fired up about it. Kubiak basically said to Stacey Dowles of the NFL Network, that's where that quote came from, he kind of tried to beat around the bush. Oh, I'm going to enjoy today. Oh, I'm going to have a good time. Oh, I'm going to do... Look, you know where I'm going. I'm going to be in Las Vegas. And we all kind of knew that this was going to happen. We all knew that this was going to be coming. It felt like it was a done deal. Essentially, after they met last Saturday, it was all but assured Kubiak was going to be a Las Vegas Raider. And I just want to say that there are no hard feelings. I was at a Raiders event on Friday. Don't ask me how I ended up there, but I actually did really enjoy my time with the nation, and we carved out a deal. I said that if Kubiak won Super Bowl 60 with the Seattle Seahawks, I would let him go. There would be no harm, no foul. And to be honest with you, man, I just appreciate Klint Kubiak for all that he did. Came in for 1 year, help turn around this offense and get it into the position that it needed to be, help the team get 14 wins, help the team go out and beat the 49ers and the Rams on the way through the NFC, and of course, beating the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Thank you, Klint Kubiak. I'm glad that you ended up getting a Super Bowl ring here in Seattle. We really appreciate it. Speaking of rings, we were in a sub battle all last week, and we beat Patriots Today by just one subscriber. If you subscribe to the channel, that means it was you on why we were able to beat Patriots Today. Beat the Patriots not just on the field, but here in Chat Sports. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure that you come on in and hit that sub button. We don't just stop during the regular season. We have you covered throughout the offseason because guess what? Moves are already going to start being made. Cut candidates are coming in. Free agent targets. We're going to have draft coverage. Everything that you could want all the way into the buildup of the 2026 NFL season because right now we can officially talk about the offseason because we are in it. Greg Bell of the Seattle News Tribune, I believe he's a great reporter on the Seattle Seahawks. He put this tweet out actually early this morning where he said that head coach Mike Macdonald and the Seahawks are closing in on who's going to be the offensive coordinator replacement for Klint Kubiak. That obviously means that it's going to be someone from within the current coaching staff. And this doesn't shock me because just like I said, we knew that Kubiak was going to be gone basically last Saturday. We knew he was gone before even the month of February started. That means the Seahawks also knew. So they were already moving in on some potential candidates. To me, the two that make the most sense are going to be Jake Peetz, the passing game coordinator, or John Benton, the offensive line coach for the Seahawks. Now, there's a couple other names that could try and throw themselves in, like an Andrew Janocko potentially could be the OC, but I believe that he's going to follow Kubiak to Las Vegas, and he will be the OC over there with the Raiders. So let's dive into the two really that make the most sense to me. Jake Peetz right now, the passing game coordinator for the Seahawks. He is a rising star. He was someone who interviewed for the offensive coordinator position with the Detroit Lions, and he helped really craft a passing game that, while at the beginning of the year was kind of the focal point for the offense, it did kind of take a back seat to the running game, but it took a back seat because it didn't need to be as prominent. When you look at Sam Darnold, he had a fantastic season this year. He obviously was one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, and while the interception numbers were a little bit higher than I think most people would want, when you throw for over 4,000 yards, you throw for 25 touchdowns, and you're right around that 70% completion percentage, you're doing pretty damn good. That's because Jake Peetz put him in the position to succeed as much as possible. Peetz also obviously helping craft design a route tree and a route scheme and system that really emphasized the skill set of one Jackson Smith-Njigba. He ended up becoming the offensive player of the year in the National Football League, and that would not be possible without Peetz. When we look at John Benton, he is your through-and-through offensive line coach. I mean, just look at him. One, he's got a great hat game. We're wearing the same hat. Also, great beard. But you can tell just by some of the quotes that come out of Benton that he is lean, mean, and a very gritty offensive line coach. You can see with the rushing attack for Kenneth Walker, it really took him a little bit to get going this season, but once he did get it going, he really exploded on the scene. And while that yards per game number is kind of lower than you would typically want from your number one running back, I do believe that it took Kenneth Walker some time to figure out the long outside zone scheme. Once he did, you really saw a big explosion late in the year. I think that Kenneth Walker, in a Benton type of system, now that he's already been there for a little bit, he would immediately take off. When you look at Zach Charbonnet, he was asked to get the lean, mean, gritty yards, and he did an excellent job of that, right? So you have two different styles of running backs who have shown that they can have success in John Benton's system, and John Benton has shown that while it might not hit the ground running and you might not be exploding right away, he can help design an offensive line scheme that's going to take off for those running backs. On the O-line, they got better week after week, month after month for this team. It felt like they were playing their best ball, opening up the most amount of holes, the biggest holes for the Seahawks running backs and keeping Sam Darnold upright as much as possible as the season got going. So if I was going to take a chance at someone who is on that offensive line side of the ball, I would take a shot on a guy like Benton because, well, he's shown that he can get better and get the most out of his guys as the year goes on. Who do you want? Let me know down below in the comment section. If it's Jake Peetz, type JP. If it's John Benton, type JB down below in the comment section. Let me know what your opinion is. I think if I lean any way, I think I'm going with Pete's. I think he would do a fantastic job here in Seattle. What a final 6 games for running back Kenneth Walker. The guy absolutely exploded in the last couple of games during the regular season, and then, of course, the last couple of games in the postseason. Field Yates had this stat line for Kenneth Walker in his final 6 games. So, final 3 games of the regular season and his 3 postseason games. Over 500 rushing yards. So, he had over half of his yards at the end of the year, right? When you look at it in his full regular season, he barely had over 1,000 yards in the last 6 games. Now, only 3 of those are going to count towards his regular season stat line. 561 rushing yards, 210 receiving yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Now, some of that, of course, is because he became the number 1 and only back really getting carries for the Seahawks because of the Charbonnet injury, but still. And he ended up being the Super Bowl LX MVP. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. And so the question has come, are the Seahawks going to be able to keep Walker? Because if you don't, the Seahawks cannot rely on Zach Charbonnet being 100% healthy by the start of the season because of that ACL tear. It just happened too late. Now, we did get a little bit of confirmation of where Kenneth Walker wants to play, and it does feel pretty darn good. This coming to us from Sleeper NFL. Kenneth Walker, if it was my choice, I'd definitely stay with the Seahawks. That makes me feel so freaking good. So it shows that Kenneth Walker likes what Mike Macdonald is doing. He trusts Mike Macdonald and John Schneider to hire the correct offensive coordinator to keep this thing rolling. In my opinion, I might be prisoner of the moment. Pay the man what he wants. Pay him. I don't care. Make it a shorter contract, right? I understand that not a lot of running backs end up doing well in their second contract, and this will be the second contract for Kenneth Walker. Don't care. Pay him. Even if you have to overpay him for this year, even if you have to spend too much money and guaranteed money on the first year, you are going to need an all-star caliber running back, an all-pro caliber running back. And Kenneth Walker, if he can keep playing like he did the last 6 games of the season, 3 regular, 3 postseason, that's an all-pro type of running back. So pay the man. Pay the man what he wants because you are going to need a fantastic running back next year. And I should mention that the Seahawks have the cap space to do it. Re-sign him, and if you have to, overpay just a little. Would you re-sign Kenneth Walker? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. I think right now that there's a lot of people in Seattle that are in a big agreement with me that K9 needs to stay in Seattle. I think he was fantastic at the end of the year, and we saw really what he could be for the next couple. Feels like he kind of returned to that rookie year status. It seems like we are going to end the show on a weird note, is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say a good note. I'm not going to say a bad note. Just a weird note. A sale of the Seattle Seahawks seems imminent. Now, we all know that as a part of Paul Allen's will, the previous owner of the Seahawks, it was kind of written in that eventually Jody Allen and Burt Cold, the two who took over for the Seattle Seahawks ownership group, they were going to have to sell the team at some point. The Portland Trail Blazers, who were also owned by Paul Allen, he said that they were going to have to make a sale of that team, and they did, of course, end up making that sale. It seems like the Seahawks, they are starting to go towards that potential sale and is getting closer and closer. Now, when you look at this Seahawks team, this is the time where it makes the most sense to make that sale. You just won a Super Bowl. You have a young, hotshot head coach. You got a bunch of stars on the team. Someone's going to want to come in and pay top dollar, right? You never want to trade a team or sell a team, trade a player, move on from a player, right? Because I think this is all comparing apples to apples here. You don't want to sell something at its lowest point. You want to sell it when it's at its highest value. And so to me, when I look at it, it is very clear that they are at their highest value right now. Mike Florio, obviously PFT, Pro Football Talk, he has had an opinion on what the Seahawks could potentially sell for, and this is what he wrote earlier today in his PFF article. He said that, and when the sale happens, it is currently believed that the high bidder will land in the range of $9 billion to $11 billion. And he did mention also as well that he does expect that sale to be happening soon. In my personal opinion, just give us a good owner, right? If that process is going to start soon, whoever comes in, I want them to love the Seattle Seahawks, keep the team in Seattle, and be willing to pay for upgrades when it comes to Lumen Field and the stadium, to be able to pay for top free agents. Don't run this team like Cincinnati. Run this team the way Paul Allen did. And Paul Allen ran this team like it was a passion project for him. Paul Allen ran this team like he was a fan, because he was. And that's why I think the Seahawks had so much success under him. And I think that Jody Allen and Burt Cole, they kind of continued on with that train. So if that sale is coming, and it does seem to be like it is going to be, sell to someone who loves the Seahawks and who's going to do the best for the team. I want you to predict it down below in the comment section. Who will be the next owner of the Seattle Seahawks? A lot of people seem to think Jeff Bezos, although it does kind of seem, according to Florio, that maybe he might not be as interested in purchasing the Seahawks as we might hope. Seems like it could be a no-name candidate, someone who kind of comes out of nowhere. Hey, who knows? Maybe Mark Cuban loves the Seahawks. We will see who ends up potentially purchasing that team, but don't be shocked if you hear stories and rumors about that potential sale going on for the next couple of years. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We are growing every single day, and we are on the road to 100K. We are closing in rapidly, just over, or I guess just under 15,000 subscribers. We are getting closer and closer every single day. So come on in, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep you covered throughout the 2026 NFL offseason. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. I can't wait to see y'all next time.